Okay, that's it. I should start.
It's gonna live stream in a minute,
And then what? It gets recorded into my email.
and then it's on YouTube.
Oh no, that's so scary. I can't block it and make it private.
Make it private.
Okay,
Make it
I
private.
don't want to be silly, so
Make it private.
okay, starting. Okay, welcome everybody. Where do I look? Here or there? Here. Welcome everybody. So we are everybody remember what we're on the theme and the goal of our class is to always remember to parent in a pneumistic way. We want to parent and raise a child that is at its core a part of Hashem. And it's our privilege and honor to have our children. Hashem gave it to us on loan. It's not ours to be authoritative over. It's not ours to decide, what their course in life is. On the other hand, we do have the halachas of kabed esavicha ve'esimecha. We do have to command respect. So it's a very, very fine balance of juggling between respecting your child and knowing that he is a chelek elokah mimal mamish. He's not just your possession to do whatever you want with. On the other hand, to ask and command respect, that your child respect you as a parent. And we did go through halachas, basic halachas, which we do have to hold, and we do have to keep our children by. But we mentioned that we have to be smart about it. It's not just, this is my chair, you better not sit on my chair. We have to remember that the way we perceive things and the way we speak is what we create, the aura around us. So we did also mention how we have to perceive ourselves, we have to perceive the world, and we have to perceive our child all in a pneumistic way. So when we're driving in the street and a person cuts us off, there's many ways to react. Oh my gosh, what a nerve. How dare he? How dangerous. What a driver. Oh my gosh, what a Brooklyn driver. On the other hand, we also have another way of a pneumistic way of seeing always that there is a purpose, there is a reason. Maybe it's to challenge my stress level. Maybe it is to challenge my mode of how I react and how we perceive. And the day follows suit in that. When we say, oh, what a horrible day, or what a nerve he has, it has repercussions in this world. We do draw down energies into our day and how our day flows. So the same thing is how we parent our children. The way we view our children and the way we look at our children is going to affect the child's mold, the way the child's going to be raised. So it's very, very important to always see our children in what buttons are they pushing. There is a purpose. There's a reason why they're pushing those buttons. And there's always a purpose and an inner thing for it. So Pesach is coming up, and I wanted to bring a very, very interesting lesson that I learned from Y.Y. Jacobson, Rabbi Jacobson, a very, very, very special thing. And he delved on stealing the Afikomen. So there are communities that don't steal, like myself. We don't steal the Afikomen. The children find the Afikomen, and they don't necessarily get presents for it. But it does come from a source. Gemara tells us that we have our children steal the Afikomen, so that it's another way to allow them to stay up. It's an exciting thing. It's towards the end of the Seder. So by them keeping them up, by them knowing that they have to steal the Afikomen and they have to be up to return it and to get a bargain and to get a deal. Now, of course, in the olden days, it was nuts. Today, it's, way out of our somewhat budget sometimes, but we have to be smart about it. And it does have a source to it. But why? Why does the Gemara bring about the whole idea of stealing? And when we look into Pesach, there's a lot of stealing going on around Pesach. So it happened on Pesach, many, many generations before Matan Torah, before Bnei Yisrael went out of Mitzrayim. Yaakov comes into Yitzchak with 2 lambs. And why? For 2 karbanos, for karban Pesach and karban Chagiga. So the Avos kept the Torah before it was given, and it was Pesach time. So Yitzchak asked his son Esav, please go get for me some lamb so I can bench you, because it was the special night of Leila Seder, of Pesach night. And Rivka overhears this, and she says, of course, who's going to get the Bechaira? Who has the Bechaira? Who bought it off? It was Yaakov, so he's going to get the brachas. And she dresses him up in Esav's garments and in Esav's coat, because he kept it by his mother, because his wives were stealers. So he trusted his mother with his finest possession that he got from Adam Rishon, which he murdered. I think, Cain in order to get the thing. He got this beautiful animal skin, and he had it by his mother's house. And Rivka makes the dishes for Yaakov, dresses him up in Esav's clothing, and says, go get the bracha from your father Yitzchak, and he's going to bench you. And when he comes in, he steals his father's mind. Father asks him, who are you? Of course, Rashi tells us that he didn't really mean that. He says, I am Esav. And Rashi says, I am who I am, but Esav is your and I am the Bachar, but Esav is your son. So he steals the brachas. And as he leaves, Esav comes in, and Yaakov and Yitzchak obviously realizes that it wasn't that he obviously knew all along that it was Yaakov, because he did question it. He was trying to see, is it actually deservant? Is he getting would he really deserve to get the Bechaira? And he saw that, yes. When Esav came in, it was Gehenna that came in. So he realized that it wasn't meant to be for Esav, the Bechaira, and the brachas that came along with it. And Yaakov got it, and he says, yes, Baruch Yeh. He acknowledges that Yaakov should get the Bechaira. But why stealing? Again, why didn't he could have done it and bargained with his father? What is the power of stealing? And we see it throughout Pesach, leaving Mitzrayim. After 10 Makkos, Paro says, okay, I'm ready, go. And Moshe tells him, okay, we'll go for 3 days, and then we're going to come back. And after 3 days, they leave. And Paro says they're not coming back. Paro sends spies with the Yidden. And after 3 days, the spies say, hey, it's 3 days are up. Aren't you returning to Mitzrayim? And Moshe says, no, we never meant to return. We are going. We're going to get the Torah. We're going to Eretz Yisrael. We are free. We're no more slaves to Paro. We are going to be servants of Hashem. We're getting the Torah, and we're going to follow Torah and mitzvahs. So again, why at that point, Paro would have said, for sure, go forever. I don't want to see you anymore. He was begging them to leave. We know that they came to Moshe Rabbeinu, and he says, leave now. And Moshe says, no. This is the middle of the night now. We are not running away like robbers. We're not stealers. We are leaving at midday to show Mitzrayim that we are leaving Mitzrayim. We are leaving everything behind us. We're going to be free people. So he could have told Paro, we're leaving for good. And Paro would have been okay with it. Why did he have to steal Paro's mind? Why did he have to say, no, we're leaving for 3 days. We're going to come back. And also, when they're leaving the Yidden, what did they go to get from, for all their work? They had to leave. Avram was promised that Bnei Israel will be avadim. They will have shi'bud. They will have galus, but they'll go out b'rechush gadol, with a lot of abundance of wealth. Clothing, jewelry, and in Makas Chayshech, they looked through the homes of the Mitzrayim and found exactly where they were, all their jewelry, all their nice, beautiful clothing. And they came and asked for it. They said, can we borrow your jewelry and clothing? Why borrow? They knew they weren't going to pay it back. And actually, we know that they did use the word borrow, because many generations later, Mitzrayim asked the Egyptians, said, why don't the Jews pay us back? They owe us money. So there was a Tana that said, yes, okay, let's make a cheshbon. How many slaves, how many years, and obviously it was much more money that Mitzrayim owed the Jews than Jews owed Mitzrayim. So we know that it was a real thing that they asked to borrow and not to take for good. So why use the borrow? Again, stealing the minds of Mitzrayim. Why not say it as it is? What is the power of stealing? Why do we need to steal? And that's what we have to always remember. In parenting, we have our parents' parenting methods. We have our inabilities or ways we deal with stress, with anxiety, how much level of focus we are. And we could say to ourselves, you know what, it's not really me. I cannot be better than what I am. I am who I am. My parents brought me up a certain way. I have my baggage, my characteristics. I cannot be better. I cannot be a better parent. And that's where Torah teaches us. We need to steal. We need to steal from our really inner core, our pneumistic core, our nefesh elokis, who we really, really are. And all our external levels of, the game of stacking the babushkas, one inside the other. There's so many layers of ourselves. Who are we really? We have to ask ourselves, who are we really? And we're really, really at our core. We are, and we can reach higher than the sky. The sky is not the limit. We can always work on ourselves and become better parents. We can always challenge ourselves to do more and more for our kids, for ourselves, for our family, for our husbands, for the Jewish community. So we have to steal and leave the parenting methods. We have to leave the Mitzrayim behind us. Mitzrayim is Milashon. It's not just Egypt of many years ago. Torah is Milashon Hayra. It's constantly learning and teaching us new things. Mitzrayim is Milashon Meitzar, constraint. We can't define ourselves by who we are now. Our spiritual wardrobe has to change. We have to change, just as we change our clothing and we buy new clothing. We have to buy and make new garments in our parenting methods. We have to always grow and steal and say, no, I'm really not this external, this anxious type of person. I'm much more than who I am. This past Shabbos, I had an incident in Shul. So as a Rebbitzin, I don't keep my mouth quiet when I see certain things, and I do voice things. I'm sort of everybody's parent. I'm sorry, but that's who I sort of sometimes overstep, but that's what I do sometimes. And there was this young boy, we'll call him Zevi, and he was pushing an older boy, an older teenager, and he wasn't a teenager, he was a 23-year-old. And this 23-year-old came a little bit late and was davening in the hallway, and this 4-year-old was pushing him, and out of play, he was pushing him. But at a certain point, this older boy told him, stop, enough. I want to daven, I want to concentrate. And this 4-year-old didn't give up, he persisted. And I mixed in, I said, please don't do that, Zevi. We don't push friends. And Zevi turned to me and he said to me, my father is going to kill you. So there is different modes of how we respond to children. Now, it's much easier for me to bring out the pneumistic thing and not go with the external and bring myself down to the level of my father is bigger than your father, or, how dare you say that? Or what do you think you are? You're just 4 years old. We have to go into the core. So I went into, just dealt with him and responded, that's not safe. That's dangerous. Your father is going to be in jail. You're not allowed to kill another yid. Chas v'shalom, your father would never do that. So he turns to me and says, I'm going to punch you. So again, there's different methods of how we respond. And of course, it was easier for me because it wasn't my kid. And I responded and said, that's going to hurt me. You don't want to hurt. You don't want to hurt me. We're friends. You don't want to hurt me. And he turned to me and was shocked by my response. And then he continued and he went off. And no, actually, I've discussed with him how we don't hurt friends and we don't want to push people when they're davening. And he went off, and it went off really, really well. and a father came by, and he said to me, he said, I don't think that's the way it should be. I think kids are allowed to push and shove around. And I said, no, I disagree. I don't think a shul is a playground. My little boy was not in shul that time. I'm going to go pick him up at the end of shul towards Musaf time, because it is important for me that kids should be in shul. I do want to push my kids farther. As I said, the bar for me is of our mission statement of my family is to push beyond, out of my comfort zone. So I do bring my kids to shul, but I do know where to bring them. And so I do believe kids come to shul, but shul is not a playground. He said to me, no, shul is a playground. I think kids belong in shul. They should know what shul is, and they should have fun in shul. And we should have good kids programs. I said, yeah, we do have kids programs, but kids don't follow the rules. And we have to, we have to discipline them sometimes. And he said to me, yeah, my son has a Rebbe in school and 65 years old. And he told me, the 65-year-old called me and said to me, there are 5 kids in the classroom, they can't sit. So what should I do? So the parent said, oh, send them out on errands all the time. I said, I don't know. I think we have to push our kids more. They should know that they have to sit a little bit. They have to sit. Not everything is just a free-for-all. We can't do whatever we want. And we have to limit our kids, and we have to tell them no, but we have to do it in a right way. We have to do it with a smile, and we do have to challenge them and push them farther than. So that was really, and he turned to me and said to me, because I said, look, my kids, my 8-year-old is sitting in shul from 7 a.m. because it was Shabbos Mevarchim. The goal is to finish the whole Tehillim on Shabbos Mevarchim. From an 8-year-old, my 8-year-old, my 10-year-old, and my 12-year-old were all in shul. And the whole thing was to finish the Tehillim. And they're getting points for it. They're getting dollars. There is also a side to it. The Rambam says to give rewards. But we have to push our kids, and it doesn't come out of vacuum. Sometimes they don't feel like finishing the Tehillim, and they don't always achieve it, but it's work. We push it. I don't feel like it. So he turns to me and says to me, your kids are soldiers. You are a sergeant. And I thought to myself, is that an insult? I think that is the biggest compliment ever, because yes, I am a sergeant. Yes, my kids are soldiers. That is the point. Hashem commanded the Yidden and called them when they left Mitzrayim. He called them, you are Tzivas Hashem. You are soldiers. And we have to teach our kids, because that is the goal, to push ourselves farther and connect to Hashem and be Hashem soldiers. And whatever goes with it, we have to remember that that is really our goal. So, Nechama, do you want to add to it? And then we'll go to
Hi,
questions.
everybody. I just quick, everything was amazing. Thank you. And that was, I agree. It's a compliment to be a sergeant of our army. But I just wanted to add quickly, exactly, just in that same vein, is the positive reinforcement piece. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Good. The positive reinforcement piece, like we say with the Afikoman and stealing the Afikoman, so much of the Seder is about involving the kids and getting the kids involved and motivating them and them being a part of everything that we do. So we just want to remember that and carry that through with us every day, that how do we get them to positively and happily comply? Because it sounds great in theory, but how do we do that on a practical level every single day? And how do we do that at the Seder? We have our built-in Afikoman, which is true. Our prizes have gotten bigger and bigger, and Bobby's and Daisy's Baruch Hashem can be together with people this year and promise even better prizes and more positive reinforcement. So let's take that, what we do during the Seder and all the other things that we do, the little things that we buy and all the things that they learn, and we involve them with their projects and the kits and everything that we do, and try to do on a daily basis, especially the next few weeks when it's a little bit crazy and hectic and we need to get a lot of things done. So remembering that anything positive, as much as, some kids are extrinsically motivated and they need something tangible or something that they can hold on to, that's going to reinforce the action that they need to be doing. So if they're not going to go clean up those toys, or they're not going to help you wipe down what some of the tables and chairs, things like that, let's try to think of positive reinforcers that we can dangle in front of them, you know, in order to get them to do that. The same way we go to work for our paycheck, thinking about things that they can earn so that they can help in a positive, happy manner. And some of us are intrinsically motivated. We just want those chairs clean. So we just do it, need that tangible. Don't want to promote other things, but it can also be like 5 minutes extra to stay up. They could have an extra treat. They can have an extra 5 minutes outside time. And Hashem, the weather should get better. Things like that can also be very positively reinforcing, and it does be something that they can hold up to do, like a few extra minutes of coloring, whatever that activity is, or whatever that thing is that we can do, bubbles in the bath, whatever it is that they enjoy. Let's dangle that in front of them to get them to do what we need them to do, just like we have the Afikomen, where we're involving them and motivating them nonstop during the Seder. So trying to keep that in mind for every part of the day, even though it's hard to remember, and it also feels like we're kind of bribing everybody, but just remembering that positive reinforcement will help us manage the behaviors and get through things a little calmer and a little happier and a little smoother. And now we'll open it up to questions.
Anybody has a question, please share.
Hi. I know you've always been saying about positive reinforcement and trying to get them to do things, but does it always have to be with the insight, like if you do this, you get this? Because then I feel like it just trains them not to want to do it unless they get something out of it.
So I'm a big believer in not having always a reinforcer. But you have to get to a certain level with that. You could start with, a easier reinforcer, which is really initial, like really quick each time they get something, but then you make it extend it. It's like building muscles. Okay, when you exercise, you're building the time that we exercise. First, you can exercise and run for 10 minutes straight, 5 minutes, and then you build it to 15, 20. It's the same thing as with parenting.
Okay.
You have to know your child and your ability of how, and also yourself, because it is your parenting model. So how long can you build the strength of your child's mode of, that's
Right.
really the question. So, of course, as they get older, they should have longer. It doesn't have to be every time. And also, it doesn't have to be always consistent. And it has to be all different variety. It doesn't always have to be candy. It could sometimes be spending time with mommy, reading a book. It could
Right.
be something educational where you can get two things at once. Reinforcer, time with mommy, and something learning. It's not about, I don't like it being candy or toys or things like that, but sometimes it's needed when it's like something that's bigger. It really, it's a lot of, it's a very good question.
Right.
Yeah.
Thank you. Also, I wanted to ask,
Let Nechama add something, I think.
oh, sorry.
Oh, sorry. No, sorry. Yeah, no, it's exactly that. Exactly. As Rebbetzin Wiegler said, exactly. Doesn't have, consistent reinforcement is it's hard, and it's very case by case. It's very, independent for each child. And we don't want it to be something where it's like a system of, okay, you took a bath, yay, here's your prize, here's your this. It can be, we want it to be something that's more motivating for different things that where you're having trouble. I'm sorry that I didn't we're all having trouble, different target areas that every child is manifesting or demonstrating. So that would be the time where we would want to try to reinforce them more. So if you're having, if the day is going well and everything's smooth and, the structure is working, then there's no need for extra reinforcement. You can just praise them like you always do. Like, that you did a great job. I'm so proud of you. Just remembering to do that is enough
Right.
for, that is enough for a lot of, so I just want to, clarifying that. Thank you for that question. Definitely not for everything. It's just, as much as possible, catering to the things that we need. I'm just saying, going into this busy time where there's a lot going on, the schedule is a little off. So trying to just find ways where we can get them to do what we want. I would just try to reinforce as much as possible in whichever way is reinforcing. Like some people, want ice cream. Some people want a color. You know what I mean? So whatever independently they're find reinforcing for themselves, just trying to think when we're finding ourselves in a moment that's difficult for them to comply. Does that make sense?
Right. So really reinforcement is temporary. It's the chitzonius. The pneumius is that a child is capable, but connections is always pneumius. Building connection with your child.
I had another question.
Right. And just behaviorally, sorry. Yeah.
No, it's okay. Go
ahead.
Okay, my daughter,
behaviorally,
Sorry.
Go. I'll tell you after. Go. Sorry.
So I tried Shema with my daughter every night. She's already 5.5, and Berachot when she eats and whatever. And lately, when I want to do it, when I was okay, let's say Shema, she was having oh, I don't need to say Shema. Last night I didn't have any bad dreams, so I don't have to say Shema. When I don't say Shema, I don't have bad dreams. So how do I go about that? Because I really want her. I don't want to put the pressure on her and not wanting to have to do it because this, you have to do it. I want her to do it because she wants to do it. So how do I go about that of her wanting to do it and not me, having to tell her I don't want it to be a pressure on her.
How old is she?
She's 5.5.
Okay. So at 5.5, I would say something to the effect that Hashem is waiting for you. Hashem wants to connect with you. Hashem loves you and he wants to hear you. You don't want to say it? I could say it for you today. Or, but Hashem loves you and wants to hear you. It's not about, again, it's not about the reaction, about a reward I'll get. I don't say Shema and daven to Hashem because of a reward. Hashem knows that I'm going to have bad dreams or not. So when it becomes when they become older, Hashem knows what I need. Why do I daven to him?
Right.
It's not about getting the reward. It's not getting what I need. It's about connection. It's about relationship. And you say to her, you like spending time with me if I take you out for ice cream, or if I read you a book, do you like it or you don't like it? If I go out with you to the park, do you enjoy the time together or not? So if you bring it down to her level of connection, you like being connected to me. Hashem is our Father, and he loves to hear your voice. Because when you prep it as little as they are, the older they are, they start understanding davening as something much deeper than me asking Hashem, give me a nice new car, or make sure that my day goes well today and I find a parking space. I mean, it's much more than that.
No, of course. I think just because she was going through a phase where she was having bad dreams and she was waking up at night. So I told her, maybe it was my fault. I told her, if we say Shema with more kavanah and whatever, then I'm telling you, you'll be much more, Hashem will protect you and you won't have bad dreams. So I think she took it into
okay, it's fine. That's one stage. That's not bad. Right. It's just one stage. It's a chitzonius more, and you go up deeper and deeper. It's fine.
So now I'll tell her that. I'll tell her, thank you.
Yeah.
Okay. And I had just one more question. She comes when the kids come home from school, it's always I'm bored. And I know they don't have to be entertained 24/7, but it's it's a constant thing of me battling with her of she's bored and I have to take her out or bring a friend over. How do I react? How do I respond to that? Do I just ignore it or?
Should I answer this one? You hear me? I'm not sure if that's a really, Julie, it's a really great question. And all your questions are great questions. And I think that was a really important question. The other one, about picking our battles with things like that, because we don't want it to be like aversive for her to say Shema. So going back to that was a really good question. This one, agreed, same thing. Like we always talk about, that downtime is the hardest time for them, because when they're quote unquote bored and there's nothing going on, that's where, we start seeing behaviors. We start seeing, trying to fill their time. They don't really know what to do. So that's a really, really great point. And I think that a lot of us, myself included, struggle with trying to fill that time. So I think that a lot of it is, as you sound like you're very on top of everything. A lot of that is the prevention piece. Like, we don't want to be like every single day planning trips. You're going out,
Right.
you're just come home from your day. You don't necessarily want to run out. So like you want that time where she's able to occupy herself, and you don't necessarily need a play date every day, because that's also hard. So looking at the schedule, either maybe sitting down with her and saying, okay, we're going to do a play date once a week. Like sometimes Thursday nights are easier for some people. They're a little more chill, depending whichever night is better for you, trying to pick, limiting and creating that boundary, that like play date once a week, if that's possible. Does that sound plausible, like for her? And
Yeah.
then the other days trying to think, like right when she comes home, thinking about what you can do. Like, would she be happy coloring activity on the table? Would she be happy, like, something that she could do more independently, so you don't have to be on top of her? Or maybe setting up like the magnet tiles, she's 5.5.
Right.
Is that still exciting for her? Like something like that she likes to do,
Right.
something like more independent that she likes to do. Maybe she likes to do some of those worksheets, like you'll call it like
Right.
homework, something like that's still
Right.
Yeah.
If she doesn't have a friend over, I feel like it's my responsibility to keep her busy, and
right to
it's
entertain.
hard for me to do my
Right.
things that I need to be doing.
Exactly. Another thing, does she like dramatic play? Does she like to like pretend she's the mommy or the teacher?
Yeah,
Like
that's
stuff like that. So what I like to do, even for myself, during those times when I'm busy and I have things to do, you hear me?
yeah.
Not sure. So during those times, I like to you felt it. Okay, I like to say like, okay, you be the teacher and I'm going to be the student. So while you're cooking or cleaning up or prepping, whatever you need to do, let her be the mora, right? And she's like going to give you homework and she's going to tell you stuff, and then you're going to raise your hand. But while she's playing, you're really accomplishing what you need to do. So you don't feel like you need to sit there and you're on top of her. Try to come up, or like let her be the waitress, or let her be the Uber Eats girl, and she's gonna go bring you ice cream or coffee or whatever it is, things like that. Trying to get into like more of a play scheme where you're accomplishing whatever you need to be doing, and she is doing her thing over there, and then you're together the whole time. Does that sound like a could work for her?
I'm gonna
Okay.
try because I'm
Okay,
always
great.
like giving in and taking her out, which I
And then you get right.
yeah.
And then you're stressed because you're coming home to the same stuff that you had to do before.
Yeah.
So something like that. I mean, now as the weather gets better, it's a little harder to keep them inside. Hopefully the weather's going to get better. But just that kind of idea where like, while you're doing your thing, you're also still playing. So she's getting that like positive attention from you and having a lot of fun, but you don't have to be on top of her as much. And especially if she likes it, like you could like print out some worksheets or give her a notebook, like an old notebook with a pencil, let her be the mora. Let her be the mommy. You could be the kid while you're doing whatever you have to do, and then just glance up every couple of minutes, something like that.
Right. Okay. I'm gonna try it. Thank you so much.
Thank
Okay,
you.
but let me know if you need, if
All
it's
the
not
best.
working, we could tweak that.
Okay. Thank you so much. Have a good
Thank
night.
you, everybody.
Good night.
Thank you so much.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Thanks for the
Thank you.
question. Hi.